really had no clue what I was getting into this semester. I remember being in Mr. Hansen's digital filmmaking class in the second semester of grade 10. I was sitting down and working on a film project when he came and approached me. He said the program was called Propel, and that I could work on whatever was my passion and work on it throughout the whole semester. It sounded really cool to me. The only other thing I'd ever heard of it that was similar was the Met School. And I know a couple people that are in that program, and they really seem to enjoy it. So I thought, why not? And I'm very thankful that I did. So the next step was figuring out what I wanted to do for my project. I knew I wanted to do something with music, but I really had no idea which area I wanted to cover. I really enjoy all aspects of it. I enjoy the songwriting, as well as the producing, the performing, and the promoting. And I didn't plan anything super measurable, nor did I have a point A and point B in mind when I came here. So my project in Propel this semester, if I could summarize it in one sentence, is simply releasing new music. That way I can include every aspect in there. The songwriting, the process of writing a song. This means writing lyrics that not only work together thematically, but rhyme too. It also involves creating melodies that haven't been done before, as well as figuring out chords that work well together. Songwriting can either be the best part or the most aggravating and time-consuming part, because when do you really know a song is done? The producing. Spending hours recording pieces to create a track. It's figuring out which sounds go well together, as well as what instruments you need to achieve a specific sound or a specific genre. Once the recording is done, it's the mixing phase, which means listening to the song over and over again, adjusting volume levels, panning left and right, equalizing tracks, compressing tracks, and so much more. The next is the branding. Figuring out your image, spending time answering questions about yourself that sound easy, but these are things that really take a lot of thinking. Your brand indicates your color scheme, your font, your logo, and ultimately you. So you're probably wondering why someone like me would want to put so much effort into a 3-minute piece of audio. And that's because it's something that I've loved since I was a kid. It started out with 3-year-old Dane singing along to his favorite song, which was Superman by Fighting in the Car, to my first concert, to my first EP, and to my first and only boy band, and TV show. Music has always been a big part of my life, and I can't see myself doing anything else with my life but being an artist. So this semester I was able to achieve the release of 2 songs, while the original intent was only to have 1 released. But a completely spur-of-the-moment project took over 3 weeks of my life. November 17th, I started writing a song called Christmas Vacation, and I planned on releasing it a couple weeks prior to Christmas. So a great success with this project was the music production. Now the image seen here is a screenshot from my Logic Pro X project. It consisted of 3 different drum tracks, 2 bass tracks, 2 guitar tracks, a piano track, and 20 different vocal tracks, which included lead vocals, harmony vocals, and vocal pads, also known as oohs and ahs. The other tracks seen were tracks that styled the whole song and gave it that Christmas feel. For inspiration, I looked to some other pop-driven Christmas songs, such as All I Want for Christmas Is You and Last Christmas. Listening to these songs, I heard and applied the different sounds that turned it from just a pop song to a Christmas song. This included sounds like different horns, a choir synth, and some jingle bells that I borrowed from the band room downstairs. Also, if you didn't notice, I made the tracks Christmas colored because organization is key in the creation process. And I want to talk about the video a little bit. The video production for the song started off with a storyboard. Now, like Ashton was talking about in her presentation, I, as well, am a terrible drawer. But I found another way out of it. I used a online program, as seen on the top for my original storyboard, matched on the bottom with some screenshots from the actual video. The concept was inspired by Sean Quigley's Little Drummer Boy, with the use of snow and taking advantage of the climate that we live in. Another great advantage was the promo, as you can see by the fantastic screenshot that I made a various amount of tweets to radio personalities, news anchors, and Christmas accounts, and I ended up hearing back from Global TV and got to go on for a morning interview as well as the video itself. The video was a great success. The video was shot over the course of one weekend, and here I have a clip that I shared on Instagram for promotion.
So I won't be home for the holidays. I'll be spending all of my days in ice cold isolation, 'cause it don't feel like vacation. When snow falls down, I'll be out of here with Christmas carols I don't want to hear in my ice cold isolation, 'cause I'm needing a vacation from this year, from this year. Gotta get out of here, 'cause I'm needing a vacation from this year.
Now, Hey Kid was the second song I wanted to release this semester, and a lot of great successes came with this project. The recording. So instead of producing this song myself like I did with Christmas Vacation, I went through a producer by the name of Tyler Delpino. This way I could focus more on the branding aspect of things for the release of the song. The recording went very well. Over the winter break, I met with Tyler for just 2 hours. These 2 hours were enough to record all of the vocals, harmonies, and acoustic guitar, all done for the track. This was very fast, considering it's taken me nearly 2 hours to record just vocals on a track. Another success was the Photoshop. For the branding aspect of the song, I turned to fellow propeller, Cassie, to take promo photos for me. With all these photos, I had to not only create a single artwork, but as well as social media banners and different pictures leading up to the release. Now, I hadn't used Photoshop since grade 9 Infotech. However, I was able to achieve a professional quality single artwork and release campaign. Something else I'm very proud of is the song itself. I actually wrote the song a couple of years ago when I played the Young Humanitarian Awards for the Manitoba Teachers Society. The song portrays the awards night with its lyrics and its overall message, all while being disguised in a catchy pop song that has a hook to pull you in and sing along. Just ask Mr. Hansen and Mr. Now, both projects, in the end, were a great success. However, for each success did come a failure. I want to talk about those. So, initially establishing a project. Like I said in the beginning, I knew I wanted to do something with music, but I had no clue which path I wanted to go in. All the different focuses I could spend my time on this semester, and which should I do? There's the songwriting, there's the producing, there's the performing, and the promoting. But I looked at other artists. For example, Mr. Hansen, who's in the treble. You didn't know he's a rock star. They, of course, have some assistance and guidance from the Cadence Music Group now, but Mr. Hansen still does a lot of the digital media for the treble, including the videos and all the artwork that you see on their page. Or an artist like Pharrell Williams, who started out as a producer and then started releasing his own solo music. I mean, who doesn't remember Happy? And that's when I decided I wanted to cover all aspects of it. Another challenge was the branding questions. Now, to really help you figure out your brand, you have to answer some pretty challenging questions about yourself. These questions I thought would be easy to answer, however, I had quite some difficulty with these. Mr. Hansen gave me a list of about 8 or 9 questions, including but not limited to, how do you want your audience to perceive you? Are you passionate? What about? 4 words that describe you, and why do you make music? Now, I thought it would be easy, but answering a question like, why do you do what you do, ain't always a walk in the park. Especially questions that challenged myself in the way I acted. I realized that while answering these questions, I was creating this version of me that I wanted to put out in the world, but wasn't always the version of me that I was. I wanted also to be authentic, but those 2 points completely clash each other. So I started doing things a little differently. I started acting when no one else would act, and it started benefiting myself. I started getting more sleep at night, and I stopped procrastinating ultimately. If anything, it's helped me as a citizen and just learning to contribute in small ways to make someone's day better. Another challenge was the songwriting. Now, for anyone in this room who does creative writing, you know what writer's block is. This was a challenge for me at the beginning of the semester only for one reason. and that's because I told myself that I had writer's block when really I just didn't take the time to sit down and write a song. And putting in the effort of starting a song is the only way you can actually finish one. Something that I was able to do to contribute to that and get rid of my so-called writer's block was keep the space around me creative. I got many different scenarios and put myself in a lot of different environments to write it. Whether that was the classroom on the beanbag chairs, on the couch that we had back there, or with our class pet, Finn the fish, who was a superstar at work himself. I started writing, and with different locations came different songs. I even started writing a song on the bus that I later finished, and after 2 weeks, I completed 5 songs, 4 of which are written here. Now, one of the hardest challenges that I faced was having off days. And by having off days, I mean those days that feel non-productive, or that nothing's moving forward. There is a Robbins right across the street. And that's the thing about traditional schools, that there's a class with a teacher and a goal to achieve at the end of the 75 minutes that you're sitting there. But here, it's all self-directed, so what happens when you don't know what to do? I could, of course, turn to Hanson and Patrician only so much, but I knew this program tested us to self-direct, and it left me frustrated sometimes. There were just days that I was sitting there that felt like weeks, and then all of a sudden, you feel like nothing's moving forward. And it was that 3rd week in November where I was just sitting there doing nothing, and it felt terrible. But that was also the week that I started writing a Christmas song. That song shaped the next 3 weeks of my work. It made me take initiative. It made me turn that catchy chorus melody I came up with at 2:30 on November 17th to a fully produced track and music video. Now, predictions. Predictions are hard to make, and it's always kind of sketchy with music, but if I were to make any predictions, I'm going to predict that I'll be sticking with music in post-secondary. I've been looking around at a lot of schools like Mid-Ocean School of Media Arts here in Winnipeg, or even Metalworks Studio in Mississauga, Ontario. I also believe that I'll continue to grow my audience on YouTube. I'll continue releasing content and different videos, and I believe that one of them is going to go viral and big one day. But let's give it the next 2 years. If that hasn't happened, you've all heard me say it, and you have to come tell me that I'm not working hard enough. I also want to start writing more songs. So with that, I'm going to challenge myself to write a song a week for the rest of the year. In fact, I've already set 2 alarms on my phone to enforce this goal. With these songs, I eventually want to release another EP. And with nearly 48 songs written at the end of the year, there's got to be at least 6 good ones in there. So I really had no clue what I was getting into this semester, and look where it got me. I ended up releasing 2 songs, one of which was released December 10th, 2016, and the other one's going to be released February 7th, 2017. But for the first time, here's Hey Kid.
Remember the days when we were stuck in a haze, just caught thinking about our future and what life would be. Who knew we'd get this far? We were staring at the moon, now we're in the stars. Pinch me, this can't be true, because I'm dreaming of a feeling all that we can do. Just prove the odds wrong, sing a little song, keep plugging away, you can't do no wrong. Find that spark to inspire you, why not give it a go? Hey kid, listen to me, don't let anybody tell you that a dream's just a dream. Just put your heart in, all you got into what you want, yeah, what you want. Hey kid, take this from me, all you'll ever need is positivity, and life will keep you on your toes. So ready, set, go. to inspire you. Why not give it a go? And hey, kid, listen to me. Don't let anybody tell you that a dream's just a dream. Just put your heart in. All you got is what you want, yeah, what you want. Hey, kid, take this from me. All you'll ever need is positivity, and life will keep you on your toes. So ready, set, go. So don't hold back. Just let the light glow. It's time to show everything that you know. Don't gotta compare. You just gotta be there. You want it, you got it. So tune in. Put the odds roll, sing a little song, keep plugging away, you can do no wrong. Find that spark to inspire you, but why not give it a go? And hey, kid, listen to me. Don't let anybody tell you that a dream's just a dream. Just put your heart in, all you got into what you want, yeah, what you want. Hey, kid, take this from me. All you'll ever need is positivity, and life will keep you on your toes. Oh, life will keep you on your toes. So ready, set,